Shalom to my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, who is the Messiah. And shalom, shalom to my brothers and sisters who are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, the Hebrew Israelites. Shalom. Today, as you already know, or you may not have known, today is the new moon day. It has been confirmed that Israel has seen the new moon, as well as other countries too. So the title of this news report is Zif, the second new moon, a supermoon crescent, 2017 to 2018 AD. Also, you will learn that within this month of the second moon, it is the month to make up for the Passover, which is known as Feast of Unleavened Bread. Today's date, my brothers and sisters, is Zif the first, which is April the 27th, 2017 AD on Thursday of the heathens calendar. And you will find that we are in the seventh day from Adam, which is the 12,000 year from creation. And so far, what the Most High has shown unto me, we are in the 7,485th year. When you convert that time to Beta Israel, you would get 7,088 years. And when you convert it to the Jewish people, who are the sons of Japheth and the sons of Esau, you will find it's the 5,777 years. Now, the reason why their time is so below about 2,000 years is because they don't believe in the Messiah. Okay, so let us begin. As you probably know, it's so much going on in this month and as well as prior months, for we are truly in the last days, my brothers and sisters. Now, for the newcomers, if you have not heard Yahuwah's prophetic message, I highly recommend that you watch his prophetic message, for he has confirmed to us of what season we are in now. He has confirmed to us who are the Israelites and who are the Gentiles. I highly recommend that all Hebrew Israelites watch video 1, the first video in this playlist. Okay, that's for all Hebrew Israelites. And video 2 is for Israelites and Gentiles. I highly recommend that y'all watch the second video, because Yahuwah is now speaking through his messengers. And those who are his children will recognize his voice, and they will receive the message, and they will follow his instructions. Okay? Also, in the video description box, you will have access to the Abib and to the Zif Calendar. This one that you see here, the third one. That way you don't have to worry about writing down every single thing. I just want you to take time, listen, and focus. Okay? Also, in the video description box, for those who are still learning Yahuwah's calendar, for remember, his calendar is not like the heathen's calendar. For as you are aware, we are in the Roman Empire. And as Daniel prophesied, they had changed so much, even time as well. So when you go back and you read the beginning of the book, from Genesis to the Apocrypha and to the New Testament, you will learn that the Most High calendar is no way alike in the Gentile calendar format. So when you have some time, watch this video playlist, because what we're going over now is just only give you the highlights. It would not be giving you specific details. So I'm recommending to you to watch the video playlist that pertains to Yahuwah calendar, which consists of the sun, the moon, and Mazzaroth, because I can tell by your questions. Please watch some of those videos to get understanding, because those videos do cover Genesis, the Old Testament, and the Apocrypha, and the New Testament, giving you evidence and confirmation to prove to you of what calendar we should be following. Okay? So now let's go to the second month. Here you see a picture of Yahuwah calendar. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over the second month of the moon, and we shall review the biblical events, also the holy days, and also any other event that is pertaining to the heavens. because there's still many signs given in the heavens, okay? But before we do that, let us first go to the month of Abib, because we need to close that month out, okay? Now, in the month of Abib, you are aware that we in the West, which include America, saw the new moon crescent on March the 28th at sundown. But Israel did not see it. They only saw it on March the 29th at sundown. This is why they have fewer days in the month of Abib than what we have. We should have 30 days, and Israel should have 29 days. Okay? Which bring us to the new moon sighting. You want to see the evidence, right? Okay, so let's go there first. This link will be in the video description box. But as you can see, the new moon report has came in now. In Israel, they have sighted it on Thursday evening at April the 27th. So as this site is confirming to you what I just said, from their previous month, which is Abib, Israel will only have 29 days. Okay? Now, the sighting in Israel was in, let me read this, Jivat, Z, and Jerusalem. Okay? And this came from Willie I cannot say that name. It starts with an O. And Deva Gordon. And it was done at 7:47 p.m. when this information came into them. Okay. Other sightings are Brisbane, Australia, Sydney, Australia. I don't want to mispronounce this, but this is in India. And Elands Bay, South Africa. Okay. Take this time now to pause your screen. Okay. Now I am in America. So right now we are not able to see the new moon crescent because it's not sundown. In my time now, as this video is being made, it's at 4:28 p.m. on April the 27th, which is Thursday. Okay. So we are 7 hours behind Israel. Right now in Israel, it is 11:28 p.m. Okay. Which brings me to this. I want to show this to you. I may have to put it up. Let me go pull it up. So now in Israel, on April the 27th at 11:29 p.m., the moon is waxing 2.9%. Okay. So I want you to take this time now to pause your screen so you can see the moon illumination. Okay. But probably around sundown time, it probably around 2.5%. All right. Again, this is based on April the 27th, 11:29 p.m. for Arad, Israel. Okay. And as you can see here with this map right here. And I just, you know what? Let me type in because it usually show the name so you can see what I'm saying here. Okay. So for Arad, Israel, the moon is waxing 2.9%, but probably during sundown time, it was probably around 2.5%. So take this time down to pause your screen for that. Now getting back to the calendar. So as we can see, for the month of Abib, we here in America will have 30 days for the month of Abib. But for Israel, they will have 29 days. And the reason is because prophecy is being fulfilled. In the month of Abib, the new moon did show it at appointed time in Israel. And that is because the true Hebrew Israelites are not in the Holy Land. I will put videos in the description box for you to watch to get a more understanding. This is fulfilling Yahuwah's prophetic message and his word. For the heavens and the earth is manifesting themselves to us and letting us know that the Hebrew Israelites are scattered throughout the four corners of earth and they're not in the Holy Land. Okay. So Israel have 29 days, and in Yahuwah's calendar, we have 30 days for the month of Abib. Okay. Let's see here. Now we shall review the second month. So let's start with the new moon day. Now, in this video, we shall review the scriptures on what my ancestors did on the new moon day, because the new moon day is a holy day unto Yahuwah. That is not a day of rest unto Yahuwah, but it is a holy day unto Yahuwah. And we shall review those scriptures later on in this video. Okay? As it could be confirmed to us already, the East and the West has sighted the new moon crescent on April the 27th at sundown. Okay? Now, what's so special about this new moon crescent? It is classified as a super new moon crescent. And also on this day, you shall see Pleiades and Aldebaran and Mars appearing beside this new moon. Now, to get a more understanding what Pleiades is the 7 stars. And you can read about Pleiades in Job chapter 9, verse 8 through 9. I'm sorry, let me say this again. Job chapter 9, verse 8 through 9. Chapter 38, verse 31. Amos chapter 5, verse 8. And the works of Josephus, which is the book of Antiquities. Book 13, chapter 8, section 2. Take this time now to pause your screen to get that scriptures to do a study on, please, because it's very important to understand these signs in the heavens and what they mean, because it's confirming the word that was written in the Bible, and you will get an understanding of what I'm saying as we proceed further. Now, looking at the new moon day, many people are not aware of this, and this is in the scriptures. According to the word that is written in the King James 1611, you must have 6 working days between your new moon day and your Sabbath day. And the Sabbath day that I'm talking about is the 7th day of Yahuwah's calendar. Remember, Yahuwah's calendar is not the same as the Gentile calendar. Now, I do need to say this at the beginning of the video. For those who criticize Israelites for keeping a memorial on his holy days, and I'm talking to other Hebrew Israelites, and I'm talking to the Christians. Okay? Those who criticize them, shame on you. Now, this is to the Christians first. Now, you are quick to judge people about keeping these holy days and saying that we don't have to do it. But you are quick to keep the heathens' holy days, such as Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, Valentine's Day, Halloween, and many other days that you celebrate throughout the year. Not one time can you show those days are written in the Bible for us to celebrate. So this is why you should be ashamed of criticizing Israelites for keeping these holy days. For we are following Yahuwah instructions. Now, many of you are not aware that we're going back to Torah in the new kingdom. And in the new eternal kingdom, we shall keep these holy days. So I don't know about you, but I would take the time out to learn the Most High holy days and to keep a memorial unto him. Because through the new covenant that he established for us through his son, through that covenant, we can still keep these holy days, but we keep them as a memorial. And I will explain further as we go in this video. So I want to put that out there because I'm tired of the hypocrites criticizing and not reading the word. Either you staying too much in the Old Testament and not reading the Apocrypha and the New Testament, or you're staying too much in the New Testament and you're not reading the Old Testament and the Apocrypha, because you are not aware there are biblical prophecies from the beginning of the book to the end of the book that has not still been fulfilled yet. Okay? Now, let's bring our attention back to the new moon day. As I was saying earlier, you must have 6 working days between your new moon day and your Sabbath day. And the Sabbath day I'm talking about is the 7th day of the week of the Most High calendar. So let's count. So this is my new moon day. So after that would be day 1. So this is 1 here where you see my cursor. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 working days. Now the next question you're going to say, well, is that in the Bible? Yes. So let us go there now. In Ezekiel chapter 46, I'm going to read a summary to you in only verse 1. But when you have some time, I want you to read the whole chapter. This is one of the biblical prophecy that shall occur in the new holy Jerusalem and in the new tabernacle. Okay? Ezekiel chapter 46. Order this for the prince in his worship and for the people. An order for the prince inheritance. The courts for boiling and baking. Verse 1. Thus saith Yahuwah El, the gate of the inner court that looketh towards the east shall be shut the 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. So when we look at this verse here, there must be 6 working days, because, let me say this correctly, as we look at this verse here, the gate of the inner court will face the east, and this gate must be shut for 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. Okay? So in other words, this gate that face the east shall be closed for 6 working days. But it shall be open on your new moon day and on your Sabbath day, which is the 7th day of Yahuwah's calendar. Okay? Very important. So I know what you're thinking now, but I like to give you evidence. So now you see, based on Yahuwah's calendar, I have 6 working days between the new moon day and my Sabbath day. Now let's go to the heathen calendar. Okay? Now I want to point this out to you. For those who study the book of Daniel, he tells you what kingdom we shall be in these last days. Then the kingdom we are in the Roman Empire. He also tells us that they shall change the times. So what I'm saying to you is the calendar that we are following is by the Gentiles. Now, the Gentile calendar do not line up with the word whatsoever. So before you come against what I'm telling you, I want you to meditate, I want you to pray, and I want you to seek Yahuwah, because I can provide evidence from the beginning of the book to the end of the book to confirm to you this is the Most High calendar. For his calendar is made up of the sun, the moon, and Mazaroth. And when you study the Gentile calendar, it does not follow that. Another thing, think about this, are not the Romans and enemies of Yahuwah and the children of Israel? Is not the Roman Catholic Church an enemy of Yahuwah and the children of Israel? Think about this. Really think about it. For it was them who told the whole world through Constantine, that's where it started, to worship on a Sunday. Think about it. See, this is where I come against the Christians. You criticize us for us wanting to keep the Sabbath day, but then you follow the heathens. Okay? You listen to the heathens on what days to celebrate, but you cannot prove none of that in the word. And I know you're going to try to twist what's written in the new covenant, so I'm going to give you this. Go back and read the prophecies of the prophets and listen to them, and they will tell you that in the new eternal kingdom, we don't worship on no Sunday. We worship on the Sabbath. Okay? And the Sabbath is the 7th day of Yahuwah's calendar, a mystery that many do not understand. So now we look at April. It has been confirmed now that the new moon crescent was seen on April the 27th at sundown. Okay? So we count from April the 27th to April the 29th, because that's Saturday. We're going to see how many days this is. So April the 27th at sundown, which is Thursday, is day 1. April the 29th April the 28th at sundown, which is Friday, is day 2. And April the 29th at sundown, which is Saturday, that's day 3. This does not fulfill what was written in Ezekiel chapter 46. And I know someone who will be smart. They're going to say, well, that's in the new kingdom. Then you should know this about Yahuwah. He does not change. Okay? What Yahuwah did for you now, he gave you a better covenant to keep, because you cannot keep his old covenant. So he made a better way for you to keep it. But the spirit of the Messiah who dwell in you will teach you all truth. And the Messiah shall teach you that the calendar format you are following is incorrect for those who truly want to know the truth. See, Yahuwah draw nigh to those who draw nigh to him. For those who want the truth and those who want to follow truth, he gives more to them. For those who don't want to be blind and for those who do not want to be deaf, he gives more to those who seek that truth. So again, the choice is yours. For we know the Messiah is coming back. And when he come back, he going to put all of us in one accord. And we're going to follow what the word tells us to do. Okay? All right. So now let's go back to the calendar. So now we're going to look at the second week of the moon. And in the I almost forgot. What about, you probably say, the supermoon and pleas and Elberin? Okay. I'm going to list 2 videos in the description box for you to watch. Nimbus Maturity did a video to give us an understanding about the supermoon crescent. Okay, take this time now to pause the screen to look at the picture, but I'm gonna read the description box to you. This video was published on April the 26th, 2017. Super beautiful crescent supermoon tonight. In recent years, we heard a lot about supermoons. Full moons that are extra big and bright because they occur on the perigee side of the moon elliptical orbit. Now let us introduce you to the crescent supermoon. On Thursday, April the 27th, the crescent moon occurs at perigee, making it as much as 14% wider and 30% brighter than other crescent moons of the year. To find it, you'll have to look deep in your western sky. So I'm going to stop there, but take time to come and watch this video and to read the rest of his video description box, okay? Also, on this night, on April the 27th, let me get the picture, because he did a video before that one. This is an idea of what you would see in the heavens. So you would see the super new moon crescent. You would see Pleiades, which is the 7 stars. You will see Mars, and you see Aldebaran. Now, in his video description box, he gives you the website where you can get more knowledge. And one of the websites he listed was earthsky.org. So let us go there now so we can learn more about what's going on April the 27th. Young Moon, Mars, and Aldebaran. And this is on earthsky.org. Tonight, April the 27th, 2017, the young waxing crescent moon appears but briefly after sunset and then follows the sun beneath the horizon shortly thereafter. Click here and check the moon rise and moon set box to find out when the moon sets in your sky. It's possible, depending on where you live on the globe, that you won't see the even crescent until after sunset tomorrow on April the 28th. So those who don't see the new moon crescent today, you have the reason why, okay? Let's read the next paragraph. From everywhere worldwide, the waxing crescent moon is traveling in front of the constellation Taurus, the bull, over the next several days. However, other featured sky chart at top shows the sky seen as viewed from the mid-northern North American latitudes. From the world's eastern hemisphere, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, the moon's position is somewhat offset towards the previous date. So I do want to mention this to you to make this clear. Remember, the moon circuit is separate from the sun circuit, okay? So don't get confused between the two when they are near a certain star constellation. Remember, the moon circuit is totally different from the sun circuit, okay? The moon passes rather close to the red star Aldebaran and the ruddy planet Mars over the next few days. However, Aldebaran shines twice as brightly as Mars does. So if you see only one star-like object near the moon at nightfall for the next few nights, it's probably Aldebaran, the brightest star in the constellation Taurus the Bull. You might actually need binoculars to spot Mars. By the way, you'll almost certainly need binoculars for any chance of catching the plea star cluster. In fact, the sun would be having its annual conjunction with this cluster in about 3 weeks on or near May 19th. Now, I definitely want you to remember this one because, again, remember I tell you about their signs in the heavens? Again, it's confirming what was written in the word. It's giving us signs. Okay, just pay attention. All right. Now, the next paragraph states, in North America, we'll see the moon to the west of or below Aldebaran at nightfall, April the 27th, and to the east of or below Aldebaran at nightfall, April the 28th. But if you live at just the right spot in Northern Africa or Eastern Europe, you can watch the moon occult pass right in front of Aldebaran at nightfall on April the 28th. The star would disappear behind the moon nighttime side and reappear on its daytime side. Check here for more information. Bottom line, at nightfall on April the 27th, 2017, and for the next several days, watch the waxing crescent moon swing by the red planet Mars and the ruddy star Aldebaran. Okay? Now let us go back to the calendar. So now we're going to look at the first week of the moon. Okay? Now in the first week of the moon, on day 3, you will come to find out that Venus shall appear in the heavens before sunrise on April the 30th. And Venus remind me of Isaiah chapter 14. For we know Venus is the morning star, and Venus is associated to Lucifer, and Lucifer is associated to Ashtaroth, which is also associated to the Queen of Heaven. Okay? Venus, again, is known as the morning star. All right? And when I think about Venus, it reminds me of the future prophecy of what the Messiah shall do, because we know the Messiah is coming back to take rulership over the earth. He shall take the dominion out of Satan and his angels' hand. They shall no longer rule anymore. And the Messiah shall rule thenceforth and forever. Okay? Something very important to understand. Now I want to make you aware. Satan and Lucifer work together. Okay, these angels are working together. Now Satan is the ringleader. Now we look up Lucifer. Lucifer means what? Light bearer. And we know today in time that mankind, which is Adam, is being deceived by this false one who claimed to be the light, but he is not. Okay, so many are being deceived now, and many more shall be deceived when the last anti-Messiah shall come. All right. But I want to make this clear. These angels are working together because their goal, I'm going to say this again. Satan and his angels are working together, for their goal is to bring down mankind with them to hell. Okay. To understand more on that, you have to read 1st and 2nd Adam and Eve. Now, I will explain further why, when I think about Venus, it reminds me of the prophecy that pertains to the Messiah. But now let us go to earthsky.org to read about Venus on what it shall do on April the 30th. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article. Now, this article will be in the video description box, but I just want to read some of the lines within this article to give us an understanding of what this star would do. Tomorrow before sunrise, April the 30th, 2017, Venus will display its greatest illuminated extent as the morning star. That means the planet daytime side is now covering more square area of sky than at any other time during its present apparition in our morning sky. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Now, let me read one more line. I'm sorry. So for the next several mornings, Venus will be shining at or near its greatest brilliancy before sunrise. Okay? So take this time. When you get some time, I want you to read this whole article here. And I'm just going to read the bottom line part here. Bottom line, even though this world is only about 1/4 illuminated and sunshine right around April 30, 2017, as seen from Earth, Venus is nonetheless shining at its brightest best in the morning sky. Starting on April 30, you're going to start seeing Venus shining in the sky right before sunrise. Okay? In the morning. Because remember, we have dawn, then you have sunrise. Okay? Now let us go back to the calendar. And I do want to mention, I did forget to mention this. So we just learned that the super new moon crescent means that the moon is a little more bigger and a little more brighter. Okay? Because it's more closer to the earth. That's what that means. Now we're going to see why Venus reminds me of the future prophecy dealing with the Messiah. So now let us go to the word. When you read Revelations chapter 22, verse 16, it says this: I, Yahuwshua, has sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. So as you can see, I highlighted these words here because we see here that the Messiah is a descendant of David, okay? And he also has the title of being the bright and morning star. This has a spiritual and a carnal message, 2 in 1, okay? For we know he's going to be the King of Kings, and he's going to be the Master of Masters. He's going to assume dominion over the whole earth. And he's going to he's going to destroy the wicked ones, okay, including Satan and his angels. He's going to put them in the bottomless pit. All right. That is the spiritual message here. But now we get into the carnal. He is the bright and morning star. And to get a more understanding of that, we have to read Revelations chapter 1, verse 16. And it says this: And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. So as you see here, I highlighted some words. So let us start with 7 stars. That's why, I think a lot of this verse when I hear the word please, okay? Please is 7 stars. Now, when you read the book of Revelation, you will learn the 7 stars represent the 7 churches of Asia. And today, Asia is called Turkey. That's where you will find the 7 churches at, okay? The next thing is that the Messiah countenance shines as the sun shine. So his shining would be very bright. So he would be the one to light the day, okay? This is why he is called the bright and morning star. And we will see why. Because you have to read the prophecy that's written in Matthew chapter 24, verse 27. For it says this: For as the lightning coming out of the east, and shining even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the son of Adam be. So we know the Messiah is the son of Adam. He is the son of man, okay? So the son of man coming shall be as the lightning coming out of the east, and shine even unto the west. Now, this word here, lightning, for this verse is pertaining to a bright shining. So I went to the Strong Concordance to pull this definition to confirm to you that this verse is really more pertaining to a bright shining, a glare. So his countenance, the Messiah countenance, when he comes from the east, he's going to shine so bright. He's going to appear like the sun. That's how bright he's going to be, okay? And he's going and his shining is going to be so bright, it's going to go from the east to the west. That's how bright his coming is. And that's dealing with the physical part of what you can see when he comes. Because remember, his body never died. His body was resurrected. Okay? He is soul, body, and spirit. Three all together. Remember that. All right. So now you can see why when I see these planets in the heavens, like please, and then you have Venus, and then when it says about the sun being in please, it reminds me a lot of the prophecies that is written about the Messiah that shall come to pass. For he is coming back to assume his position as King of Kings and Master of Masters, my brothers and sisters. Okay? This is why it's so important to pay attention to the signs in the heaven. Our Father is constantly talking to us and to remind us that he has not forgotten. His word shall be fulfilled. Now let us continue. So on the day 4 of the moon, we see that we will be transitioned from the month of April to the month of May. Okay. Now when we look at the day 6 of the moon, we have the waxing half moon. And that moon is increasing in light to 50% on this day. Now I want you to pay close attention because I'm only going to do this one time for this particular moon phase. I'm not going to do it for the rest of the moon phase. Now you're probably wondering, how did Sister Yadira know how to put this moon phase starting from May the 2nd at sundown to May the 3rd at sundown? This is how Sister Yadira knew. Let me go to time and date. When you look at the waxing half moon, it occurred on May the 3rd at 5:46 a.m. in Israel. Okay. So 5:46 a.m. is before sundown. So my day would start from May the 2nd to May the 3rd. Okay. So when you go back to the calendar, the waxing half moon, which is increasing in light, occur on May the 2nd to May the 3rd. Do you see that? This is how I knew. All right. So let us continue with the first week of the moon. So in the first week of the moon, we get to day 8 of the moon. And on that day is the 3rd complete Sabbath of the 7 Sabbaths we are supposed to count. Okay. Take this time now to pause your screen to look at the first week before we go to the second week of the moon. Okay. Now in the second week of the moon, as you see here, we have on the 14th day is a full moon day. And the reason why I'm so excited that the 14th day is a full moon day, because that's the day we make up for Passover for those who were not able to keep it in the month of Abib. Now, there are scriptures for you to read to give you more understanding how you would keep it. It's the same ordinance that you follow for the month of Abib. It does not change. Okay. Now, those who have understanding about the moon phases will know that your full moon can only occur on the 14th or the 15th day. That is the rule in the heaven. It can only occur on the 14th or the 15th day. This is how I know, this is one of the signs that that the Most High has shown it to me to use to determine if the moon show at its appointed time. Also, the books of Enoch will confirm to you that the full moon can be only on the 14th and the 15th day. And surprisingly, even the heathens confirm just as well. Okay. Now, even the King James 1611 Bible will confirm to you that Passover and the Feast of Tabernacle only occurs on a full moon day. All right. So, you can see why I'm so excited that we have a full moon even on a makeup Passover day, which is called the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Now, this Feast of Passover is for 8 days, okay? And the reason it's for 8 days because we eat unleavened bread for 8 days. So this holy feast shall end on the 21st day of the moon, okay? Now for the scriptures for you to read. Read Numbers chapter 9, 2 Chronicles chapter 30, and Exodus chapter 12 to get a more understanding about Passover, and also Leviticus chapter 23. Now this brings us to the 15th day of the moon, which falls on the second week of the moon. And on this day, we have the 4th complete Sabbath that we are counting for to get the 7 Sabbaths, right? Okay. And on this day, for those who want to do a further study, you will come to find out another biblical event occur on the 2nd month and 15th day. Read Exodus chapter 16 when you have some time. Okay. Now let's bring us to the 3rd week of the moon. So let me bring this up higher. Now, as you can see in the 3rd week of the moon, we are still continuing the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And as I mentioned earlier, it ended on the 21st day of the moon in the second month. Now, when we look at, okay, yes, it ended on the 21st day of the second month. Now, when we look at the 22nd day of the second month, we have what? A waning half moon, a moon decreasing in light, and we have the 5th complete Sabbath of the 7 that we are to count. And this day, these events fall on May the 18th at sundown to May the 19th at sundown. Okay, so take this time now to pause your screen to get, to look at that information. Now we are going to the 4th week of the moon. Okay, now in the 4th week of the moon, on the 24th day, we have the sun entering the 3rd sign of Mazzaroth. Okay, and it falls on May the 20th at sundown to May the 21st. For on this day, the sun enters Gemini, that's what the Gentiles call it, which is the 3rd sign of Mazzaroth, on May the 20th at 11:31 p.m. Israel Daylight Saving Time. Now you're probably asking, what did that mean? All right. When the sun enters the 3rd sign, that is the last day of the sun's 2nd month. Okay, number 1. Number 2, on this day, daylight shall be longer than night. For Enoch's written that the daylight would be 11 parts and the night would be 7 parts. And that means that daylight is 13 hours and 20 minutes and night shall be around about 11 hours and 20 minutes. Now, I am aware when you go to sites such as timeanddate.com, you may not get the exact time that I have here. And let me explain why. The reason why you might see a slight variation is because the earth is no longer aligned with the heavens. You need to pay attention, Israelites and Gentiles, to what's going on. Prophecy is being fulfilled right before your eyes. So because the earth is not aligned with the heavens, this is why you have a slight variation. Okay? Now this brings us to the 25th day of the moon. And on the 25th day of the moon is the first day of the sun, 3rd month. Now saying sun, I was talking about S-U-N. This is the first day of the sun, 3rd month. Remember, we cannot split a day. We go by whole calendar days. Therefore, the first day of the sun, 3rd month is starting on the 25th day of the moon, which will be starting at May the 21st at sundown and ending on May the 22nd at sundown. Now, I do need to mention this because in one of my videos, I need to make a correction. But when the sun entered the 2nd sign of Mazzaroth, the date I gave to you was correct. It was the timing that was incorrect, but it does not change the information. So the timing when the sun entered Taurus, which is the 2nd sign of Mazzaroth, fell on 12:27 a.m. Israel Standard Time. I want to make that clear. So if you watch the other videos, that is the correction. Okay. Now I do want to review with you what happened when the sun entered the 2nd sign so you can understand. When the sun entered the 2nd sign, daylight was still longer than night. But on that day, daylight was around 12 hours and 40 minutes, which is 10 parts. And night was around 11 hours and 20 minutes, which was 8 parts. Again, if you get a slight variation, when you go to timeanddate.com, that is because the earth is not aligned with the heavens. So you might have a slight time difference. Which brings us to when the sun entered the 1st sign, which is known as Aries. So on that day, which we most of us know, that daylight is about equal to night. So you have 12 hours for daylight and about 12 hours for night. So which is as the prophet Enoch would say, he would say 9 parts for daylight and 9 parts for night. Okay. Again, when you look at time and date, you may have a slight variation, and that is because the earth is not aligned with the heavens. Okay. So going back to the 4th week of the moon, looking at day 28, we have the last waning crescent, and that phase will fall on May the 24th at sundown and May the 25th at sundown. Now let's bring us to day 29. On day 29, we have the 6th complete Sabbath. of the 7 we are to count. Okay, and that falls on May the 25th at sundown and ends on May the 26th at sundown. And also on this day, we have the dark moon phase. As for the 30th day, that is pending, for we're waiting to see what the moon do. Again, take this time now to pause the screen to get this information. Remember, when we are counting to Pentecost, we have to count 7 complete Sabbaths and 50 days. Please read Leviticus chapter 23, verse 15 to 22. And there will be a video for you to watch in the description box to give you more insight. Okay. Now this brings us, let's see here. I can't remember if I went over the totals for the month of Abib. So I want to make sure I give that to you before we go to the scriptures to learn about the new moon day. So for the month of Abib total for the Most High calendar, we have 30 days for the moon. And when you break that down to the actual moon time, you get 29 days, 9 hours, 19 minutes, okay? Now, the actual time for the sun, dealing with the first month, let me make sure I got everything right. Yep. Dealing with the sun entering the first sign, I got a total of 31 days, okay? That's when the sun enters Aries, okay? And when you break that down into the sun actual time, you get 30 days, 12 hours, and 2 minutes. Okay. Now, for the first month of spring, and this is pertaining to the sun year, I have a total of 31 days. Now, for the second month pertaining to spring for the sun year, I got a total of 31 days. So now I'm going to show you how I got it. So looking at the month of Abib, the first day of the second month of the sun started on the 24th day of the moon in the month of Abib. So when I count these days in the month of Abib, I get a total of 7 days, starting from the 24th to the 30th. That's 7 days. So now I have to count all the way down to the 24th day in this second month of the moon. Okay. So let's go to the top. So I got 7 days from the month of Abib. Now, starting with the second month, I have a new moon day. So 7 plus 1 is 8. And in the first week of the second month of the moon, I have a total of 7 days. So 8 plus 7 is 15. Then in the second week of the second month moon, I have a total of 7 days. So 15 plus 7 is 22 days. In the third week of the moon of the second month, I have a total of 7 days there. So 22 plus 7 is 29 days. Okay. So 29, 30, 31. So now you can see how I got 31 to end on the 24th day of the moon in the second month. Take this time now to pause your screen. Okay. Now for the word. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to read about the word. Now here's a question I want to go over with you. Now we already talked about that it must be 6 working days between your new moon day and the Sabbath day. Okay, we already talked about that. But here's something else that many do not think about. Now we're going to read Numbers chapter 28 and 1 Ezra chapter 9, verse 16 and verse 50 through 54. We're going to read that. Okay. But this is something that many people do not think about. The new moon day is a holy day, not a day of rest, except which feast of Yahuwah falls on a new moon day. Think about it. Now, according to the word, the new moon day is a holy day unto Yahuwah, but it's not a day of rest. But which feast of Yahuwah falls on a new moon day? And the reason why I'm asking you this, because it's going to tie into the next question. When you read Leviticus chapter 23, you have to ask yourself this. Why are not the new moon mentioned in Leviticus chapter 23? So why is the new moon is not mentioned in Leviticus chapter 23? And we shall find that answer in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 2. So let us go there now. Okay, Leviticus chapter 23, I'm going to read the summary to you first. The feast of Yahuwah, the Sabbath, the Passover, the sheaf of first fruits, the feast of Pentecost, gleanings to be left for the poor, the feast of trumpets, the day of atonement, the feast of tabernacles. So I'm going to read verse 1 through 2. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feasts of Yahuwah, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. So when you look at this verse here, and when you read the whole chapter, you will come to learn that a holy convocation is a day of rest from servile work. We are not to do any servile work. And all of these feast days that I read unto you have a holy convocation days listed in those feasts. Okay? Something very important to know. But when you study about the new moon day, you will come to learn that it is just a holy day and it's not a day of rest. All right? Now, you're probably wondering about the other question dealing with what feast falls on a new moon day. All right? But we'll talk about that after we read some scriptures to give us more understanding on what we do on a new moon day. Now we're going to read Numbers chapter 28. We're going to look at the summary first. Offerings are to be observed: the continual burnt offering, the offering on the Sabbath, on the new moons, at the Passover, and in the day of first fruits. So when you study Torah, you begin to learn there are offerings we're supposed to offer on these holy days. Now, those who understand the mystery of the new covenant and on how we fulfill this, you will know that you are covered through the Messiah. We are to keep what? A memorial on these days. Okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we read the scriptures. Then we'll go to verse 11. So we're reading from Numbers chapter 28, verse 11. And in the beginnings of your months, ye shall offer a burnt offering unto Yahuwah, 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot, and 3 tenths of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil for 1 bullock, and 2 tenths of flour for a meat offering, mingled with oil for 1 ram. So as you can see here, on every new moon day, we are to offer a burnt offering unto Yahuwah. And the burnt offering consists of 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot, as well as we can see the meat offering. Okay, and you see the meat offering consists of flour and oil. Okay, let us continue to read. Verse 13. And a 7/10 of flour mingled with oil for a meat offering unto 1 lamb, for a burnt offering of a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto Yahuwah. Okay, so I know you're thinking, how do we keep this in the new covenant? What does she mean that Messiah cover us? When you come in the whole volume of the book, Old Testament, Apocrypha, and New Testament, you will learn that the Most High established a better covenant for you to keep because you are flesh. Here's where you have no physical temple here in the earthly realm. He's also where you have no high priest in the earthly realm, for we are in the land of our captivities, Israelites. But however, as he told the prophet Ezekiel that he would be what? A little sanctuary unto us. Okay? This is the mystery that many do not understand. The Messiah is your burnt offering. He is your meat offering. He is all these offerings that are listed in Numbers chapter 28. Now we are transitioning into the spiritual. For now, we are offering spiritual offerings right now. Okay? This is what's tying us over until we can get into the new eternal kingdom. All right? Our spiritual offerings are praises of sacrifice. That means worshiping the Father despite of our situations, whether it's good or bad. Offering our body as a living sacrifice. That means we are keeping the commandments, keeping our bodies from being defiled. Okay? So that way the Holy Spirit can dwell in us. A mystery that many do not understand. For those who say we don't keep the law. Well, if we don't keep the law, how will you know what is holy and unholy? How will you know what is clean and unclean? Because see, when the Messiah's spirit dwells in you, he begins to teach you what is holy and unholy, what is clean and unclean to Yahuwah. And he teach you by getting you what? To read that word from beginning of the book to the end of the book. Okay? Now let us continue to read. Verse 14. And their drink offering shall be half a hin of wine unto a bullock, and the third part of a hin unto a ram, and a fourth part of a hin unto a lamb. This is the burnt offering of every month throughout the months of the year. So now we get understanding of the burnt offering that we have to offer every month, my brothers and sisters. Also, we are to blow the shofar on our new moon days. Read Numbers chapter 10, verse 10. But let us continue. Verse 15. And one kid of the goats for a sin offering unto Yahuwah shall be offered, besides the continual burnt offering and his drink offering. Then the continual burnt offering is the daily sacrifice, my brothers and sisters. So even on the new moon day, we are to offer what? The daily sacrifice plus the new moon offerings on this day. Do you see what's going on? Do you see why the new moon day is separated from the Sabbath day? And the Sabbath day I'm talking about is the seventh day of Yahuwah's calendar. It's a big difference between them two. And excuse the background noise. All right. So now let us go to 1 Ezra chapter 9. This is an example of what my people did on a new moon day. Okay. First Ezra chapter 9, verse 16. And Ezra the priest chose unto him the principal men of their families, all by name, and in the first day of the 10th month they sat together to examine the matter. So in verse 16, it's giving us a date here. It said the first day of the 10th month. Okay? Keep that in mind, because we know the new moon day is a holy day unto Yahuwah. Now we go to verse 50. I'm going to read one verse higher, verse 49. Then spake Artaxerxes unto Ezra, the chief priest and reader, and to the Levites that taught the multitude, even to all, saying, This day is holy unto Yahuwah. For they all wept when they heard the law. Ask yourself, what was the day that was holy unto Yahuwah? It was the 10th month and the first day. Verse 51. Go then and eat the fat and drink the sweet and send part to them that have nothing. So even on this holy day, we share our feast with those who have nothing to eat. Verse 52. For this day is holy unto Yahuwah. Be not sorrowful, for Yahuwah will bring you to honor. So as you see in this verse, it's confirming that the first day of the moon is a holy day unto Yahuwah. It is a day we worship the Father in heaven. Verse 53. So the Levites published all things to the people, saying, This day is holy to Yahuwah. Be not sorrowful. Then went their way, everyone to eat and drink and make merry, and to give part to them that have nothing, and to make great cheer, because they understood the words wherein they were instructed, and for the which they have been assembled. So here in 1 Ezra chapter 9, you can see what my people did on a new moon day. And it was holy. And it was not a day of rest. Okay? Now this brings us to the next question. What is the feast that falls, well, what is the feast of Yahuwah that falls on a new moon day? Let us go to Numbers chapter 29 to get the answer to the question. You can also read Leviticus chapter 23 as well. But Numbers chapter 29, and I'm going to read the summary to you first. Numbers chapter 29 summary. The offering at the Feast of Trumpets, at the day of afflicting their souls, and on the 8 days of the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, I don't take this as a coincidence, but the Feast of Passover, which is known as Feast of Unleavened Bread, has the same number of days as the Feast of Tabernacles. They both had 8 days. Something to really think about and meditate, my brothers and sisters. Okay, now we're going to read only verse 1. And in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work. It is a day of blowing the trumpet unto you. So in this verse, we are learning that the only feast that falls on a new moon day is the Feast of Trumpets. And according to Yahuwah's commandments, that is the day we are to have what? A day of rest. It is a holy convocation day, for we cannot do no servile work. For it falls on the 1st day of the 7th month. This is the only new moon day that is a day of rest, my brothers and sisters. And this explains why we do not see the new moon mentioned in Leviticus chapter 23. For Leviticus chapter 23 showed you the days, or show us the holy days and the holy feasts that we have a day of rest on. That's why you do not see the new moon mentioned. Something to really think about and meditate in your spare time. Okay, so now let us go back to this tab here. Make sure I cover everything. So take this time, my brothers and sisters, to reflect on what we just learned about the new moon day and that is holy unto Yahuwah. Do not listen to the Pharisees of today, and do not listen to the Christians who give you false doctrines. Look at them. For example, they are quick to keep these pagan days. Okay, look, they're quick to keep these pagan days, and none of these pagan days are listed in the Bible. But yet they want to criticize the children of Yahuwah for keeping a memorial of his holy days. Something to really meditate on. And the last thing you need to ask yourself this: if the prophets wrote in the book that we're going to go back to Torah and that we're going to keep these holy days, such as the new moons, the Sabbaths, the Feasts of Tabernacles, and many others, if the prophet wrote that we're going to keep it in the new eternal kingdom, then why do you think we should not keep a memorial now? Something to really think about. See, it's a mystery behind that new covenant that many do not understand. See, we in grace, but we take our grace for granted. We take our mercy for granted. For we don't take the time out to learn Yahuwah, to know him and his ways. For as written in Isaiah chapter 55, that his ways and his thoughts is not our ways and thoughts. He's letting you know he is different. Something to really think about. So this concludes this news and word for Zif, the second new moon, a supermoon crescent, 2017-2018 AD. For this is the month we have the makeup Passover and the feast of unleavened bread. All right, my brothers and sisters, remember this brother and his family, brother Eliasha, for they are truly bearing their cross, for they've been falsely accused and their children been taken away. Do not let their story die, and continue to pray for them. And their testimony will be listed in the video description box. Okay? I will close out with this prayer. In the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach, I plead the blood upon this video post and the links that are attached. Father, I pray that your children will seek your truth and no longer seek man's doctrine. I pray they spend time to read and study and meditate on your word. And I pray that they allow the Spirit of the Messiah to teach them and not man. I also pray for our enemies that they will repent from their wicked ways and return back to you. I also pray that whatever they have planned against us, Father, that it work against them and that they fall in their own pits. I also pray for Brother Aliyasha, Father. Protect that family from all danger, harm, and evil, and use that family to glorify your name. And if anything I have not prayed for, Father, I ask that you fulfill it according to your will. In the name of Yahuswshua HaMashiyach, so be it. So my brothers and sisters, continue to preach the word that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for we have seen the signs in the heaven, for the Messiah is coming. He is that one that shall come from the east and shall shine as bright as the sun. He shall gain dominion over the earth and shall rule it with an iron rod. And Satan and his angels shall no longer be prevailing in the earthly realm. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10 and baptize them in the name of Yahuwshua HaMashiyach. Shalom.